So much media, so little time. Who keeps track of it all? That would be me. This is Bob Andelman, and this is the Mr. Media Interview, broadcast and recorded live on blogtalkradio.com from the new media and baseball capital of the world, St. Petersburg, Florida. If we keep our minds open and our eyes, there are a few things us grizzled old parents can still learn from our kids. About a month or two ago, my daughter came home from school all excited about some new online gadget where her teacher could post something online and then she and her classmates could add their own comments either by typing or speaking. To be honest, it didn't immediately click for me. Then my wife and I went to a program organized by the 7th grade teachers at the school intended to expose us to a variety of new technologies and online gadgets and programs that the kids would be using this year. The same program was demonstrated, but again, I didn't get it. My wife did, however. She thought it was pretty cool and even wrote about it for the St. Petersburg Times. When I read her interpretation, and then we played with it at home, the light bulb came on for me too. Voicethread is a fantastical online program that is great for classrooms, but as our family discovered, it's also a wonderful tool for parents and grandparents and aunts and uncles to preserve, and kids, of course, to preserve and share photos, historical documents, and much more. Joining me today is at least one of the founders of Voicethread, Steve Muth, and hopefully in a little bit, Ben Papel. I encourage you to visit voicethread.com. I'll spell it. It's voice, V-O-I-C-E, thread, T-H-R-E-A-D, all solid, voicethread.com. While you're listening, set up a free account while we talk, because I expect we'll go through a little bit of a live tutorial momentarily. Steve, welcome to Mr. Media.
Hey, Bob. Thanks very much for having me. I'm pretty excited.
Well, that makes two of us. When you call yourself Mr. Media, you're introduced to a lot of new technologies. Usually it's people emailing you stuff and saying, hey, check this out. Sometimes it's, your spouse, it's your friends, but, every so often it's my kid. And Voicethread took me a little while. We talked about this. It took me a little while to grasp. But once I got it, I was really a big fan. And so what I'm wondering is, when you and Ben were at the start, how did you envision it? What did you see this being?
Well, really, my background is actually in toy inventing. That's what I used to do. And the starting point for all great toys, I feel like, is understanding and capturing what an activity or something that brings joy to people. And if you can figure out what that is, that's the hardest part, is defining that. And if you define that experience, then all you have to do is say, okay, well, how can I replicate, how can I help people experience that? And so in this case, it was everybody, an experience that everyone enjoys is a group get-together where everybody's sitting on a couch and you're looking at a group photo album, and you're all sitting there together looking at the photo album, and what the photos do is they're a little like alcohol. They're a social lubricant, and they become the focus of conversation. And the best part is the fighting, frankly, is people saying, talking about an old photo and go, no, I know what this photo means. It means this. And then having your mother say, no, that's not what it means. It means this. And that's a great activity. It's social. It has to do with media. And when we first came up with this idea 3 years ago, you couldn't do it online. There was no easy way, no way that made it fun. Yes, you could do it, but it was difficult. It was text only, hard to arrange. So the idea was, with all the technology that's out there on the web and all the social things going on, why was it so hard to make that activity, that being social in a warm, real way around media, why was that so hard to do? There was no tool available. So that was sort of the seed idea.
Interesting. Well, I was going to comment about your alcohol analogy, but I see that I think that your partner Ben Papel is here. Ben, are you on the line?
I am. Hi. How are you? Sorry for being late.
That's all right.
Thanks for having me.
Sure. Welcome to the game. You missed all the all the horrible things that Steve said about you, but we'll just go past that, and you can catch that on the replay.
It would not be the first time, that's for sure.
You probably heard the tail end of this. I was asking Steve kind of what he envisioned when you guys developed this. Maybe you want to tell us the same thing. How did you see this developing?
Oh God, it seems like it's been years. It has actually been years. I guess our first iteration of what we were setting out to do, and frankly where we are now, is so remarkably different that it's that question is actually very funny, because when we first set out to do this, it was a single photograph, and then the ability for people to kind of add their comments and stories and reflections around that. And within a fairly short period of time, we figured in speaking with people and actually showing them the prototype that there was an interest in doing that. But as the idea progressed, we saw that it wasn't really just photos or images that people had a passion to really collaborate around. It was really any type of digital media, and that's kind of where we are today, which is this ability to kind of comment and collaborate and share around really any type of digital media, whether they're videos or presentations or images. So the idea really has kind of changed over time, and that kind of brings us to today.
So now, so clarify this for me. So you can use a photo, you can use a document. Are you saying you can put up a video or an audio file or pretty much anything?
Yep, pretty much anything. I think we're up to about 30 different file types. So we'll convert them all into a format that allows people to comment on them and also draw on them. And you can draw while you're commenting, and we save the drawing as an animation that's synced to your voice. And basically what that means is while someone is making a comment, we're recording everything that they do. And so you can comment on a video, draw on the video while you play, fast forward, or pause. We record the whole thing and play it back. And the first time you see it, it's a little weird. You feel like it's live, like you feel like you're with the person and watching them do what they do. And it's sort of, it captures not the end result comment, but it captures the entire process. You can sort of hear people muttering as they circle somebody's head, and it tells you so much more than if you just saw the end result of somebody's comment. Wow. That's it is amazing. I know my wife showed it to me at home by she took a document, a wedding document from my grandparents, and put it into the system, and then she recorded some comments about it, or maybe I think she recorded, and then she sent it to my daughter just to show my daughter, and then my daughter decided that she would add some comments, and then sent it to me, and I just was like, wow, you can, I think when you start to do it and you participate in one of these, you get a better sense of it than having someone describe it to you.
It is a lot. It's one of our one of the things that's difficult about the Voicethread concept is telling somebody about it simply doesn't do it justice. You almost have to, as you said, experience it firsthand to really understand the concept.
Yeah, so, and everyone has a different aha moment. Like I think that you said the first couple times that you saw it, didn't quite get it, and then you'll have it. And it's funny because I hear so many of these aha moments, and it's always at a different place for different people. One, I remember sending a presentation to a VC type person, a real type A personality who's in a big rush, and he got back to me and he said, I first started to listen to your voice, and I thought to myself, I can't believe I have to listen to this guy. I just want the facts. I want to be in and out of here in 10 seconds and move on. But because I had promised you, I said, okay, I'm going to have to listen to this whole thing. And he said at about 45 seconds in, it suddenly hit me that I was actually listening to you, which is something I don't do. So the voice does that to people. It's a different pace than text. It's slower, so it's harder to search. So it has some disadvantages. But the advantage is you get this complex information that only humans can read, that it's just filled with extra information. So when you hear your grandmother talking about a photo, it is completely different from her having, written down a description of it. Just the value to you is it's 100-fold. It's not even close.
What are some of the ways that people have used the technology that has exceeded your own imaginations?
Oh, wow. I would say everything.
Yeah, there's so many. We could pick categories.
Yeah, we can really was not so great on this one. We thought, going back to the original question that you had brought up, like when we had first come up with this concept, we really didn't envision how this kind of blossomed into particularly the education side of things, which has really just taken off. It's frankly every use in education, aside from the obvious visual arts and things like that, but there are math casts that go on that have 75,000 views and 5,000 comments on one specific math cast. And Steve and I looked at that stuff, and we're just like, I in a million years, if somebody would have said, could Voicethread be used, to explain student thinking in algebra? I mean, it was never there. We never saw it. But educators, really, we have to kind of tip our hats to them because they saw this right from the beginning and kind of ran with it.
Let me. We've been talking. I don't know if there are people who might have questions at the moment, but if you've got a question for Steve Muth and Ben Patel, the co-founders of Voicethread, voicethread.com, give us a call, 1-646-595-3135. As I said in the introduction, I'd encourage you to go to voicethread.com and set up a free account while we're talking because I'm going to put Ben and Steve to work in a moment. At least I'm going to try. I'm not, and this is where my imagination may not be strong enough to envision how we're going to do this, but I suspect it's doable. Is this? I'm now telling people to go and set up a free account. It's kind of a sample system, right? People can do a couple of free voice threads, and then it becomes a pay.
That's right. I think the technical term is freemium, which means it's free to start, and participation in voice threads is free and unlimited. So you never have to worry, like when you make a voice thread and you send it off to folks, they're never going to have to pay anything to participate in them. Where there's a cost involved is if you make more than 3 or if you want some of the premium features.
What are the premium features?
Things like the ability to upload MP3 comments and also a greater capacity for storage. So I think you get 3 voice threads and about 75 megabytes of storage on the free account, but there's a pro subscription and it's 10 gigabytes of storage and unlimited voice threads. There's phone commenting minutes. We have a pretty neat phone commenting feature so that if someone doesn't have a microphone, which is a lot of less tech-savvy people won't know if they have a microphone. And our feature is kind of unique in that it's not a 1-800 49 digits on your phone, navigate, talking to your cable provider sort of telephone call. It's a one button. You put in your phone number wherever you are. It could be your cell phone or a landline, and then we call you. And because we're a registered system, we already know who you are and what you're looking at. All we ask you is say, this is Voicethread. Do you have something to say? And you record it, and you hang up, and 3 seconds later, your comment is right there online. So no key presses whatsoever, which is really important when you're sending it to people like, the proverbial grandma. You want to be able to give her very simple instructions, which is click the comment button, click the telephone, put in your phone number, and then answer the phone when it rings. And that's it.
Now my grandmother, who right now is outside overhauling my transmission, would probably take offense to that. But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. frankly, the proverbial grammar kind of describes Ben.
That's right.
Really? All right.
It's that. We were about 10 minutes in when the first blow came. All right.
God. You mentioned that you were surprised at how the education community had really picked up on using VoiceThread. I'm guessing that just as the freemium offer, kind of the free, your first 3 hits of the heroin is free, and then you pay for it. Having the educators, I know this is a terrible analogy, but having educators pushing the system and kids who don't have those mental blocks to something new at that age, grasping it is probably going to drive this and make it bigger faster than anything you could have imagined or any marketing company could have dreamed up.
And that sort of was our strategy early on, because we realized who's using us, who is, whose life do you change? I think that's the most important answer for a new product is, in the big wide world out there, who looks at you and goes, oh my goodness, this changes what I'm going to do every day? And it was educators. So because we're a small company, instead of doing what a lot of large companies do, which is to spend $1 million on advertising, we said, let's give away free accounts to educators. So while it seems like it was very altruistic on our part, and we're very happy about that, it's clearly been a good deal for us because they are using us like crazy, and they're doing things like research, and they're proving the actual efficacy, because it's nice to talk about, something being neat, and there's an awful lot of that in Web 2.0. There's a lot of features that are neat, but there's a difference between neat and real, actual, deep value. And we really, as a company, this is what we've shot for, and we always will, and it's always paid off, which is no bling. It's nice to have neat features, but you really got to prove the value to that feature. It's got to change somebody's life. Otherwise, let somebody else do it.
Useful before, before pretty. Right.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Useful. Basically, it's got to be useful. Otherwise, really useful. There's so many things and believe me, we see them every day. Like, oh, could you, do this from your mobile phone, or do that from your mobile phone, or could, lots of features requests we get. And some of them are good, but we always prioritize and say, does this really, really make somebody's life different? Because if it's not, we're not going to do it, because we're not in the business of sort of exploring and playing. We think we're delivering real value for the people who use us, and that's important, because there's a lot of distraction that goes on in Web 2.0, or it's neat, but if you ask some hard questions about it, you can't really come up with a good answer about why is this better than what was before.
And I think there's one other thing, and Steve is kind of heading in that direction, but I'll just take a stab at it, which is, particularly in our market, which clearly is our main market is education, we need to be very clear about the benefits of this technology with teachers and students. There's a ton of barriers. There are a ton of barriers to overcome when you're talking about Web 2.0 technologies. Frankly, we don't even like to consider ourselves a Web 2.0 site, but the barriers and hurdles are enormous with privacy, with security, and with benefit. In other words, is this simply a distraction in the classroom, or where is the benefit to the student and to the teacher? And that kind of has driven our development. If the feature set is not going to benefit one side or the other, then frankly it doesn't belong in our UI. And that's been our philosophy. Frankly, we think it's paid off.
That's interesting. My daughter used the, well, she participated. I don't want to say she started. She participated in a VoiceThread this past week. Her class was studying Edgar Allan Poe. And so the teacher, I think, had posted, I don't know, The Raven or Mask of the Red Death or The Telltale Heart. Anyway, something about it. Maybe it was a photo, and said, I think she asked the kid something like, what do you think this is about? And then, so that's, if I can describe it to people who haven't seen this, so that image or request is in the middle and then ringing it all around it is all these kids who've created avatars for themselves, little illustrations of who they see themselves as, and they draw it. And so that little person, if you click on it, and you then hear their voice describing what, let's say, the Telltale Heart was about. Now, having said that, I will say that I don't think she she either didn't pay enough attention to it, or it didn't sink in on her, because she didn't do very well in the test. But I still admired that the teacher set this up and gave them the opportunity to do it this way. I thought it was pretty darn interesting.
Right. Oh, that's neat.
Yeah. Well, and we're going to work on that grade. But so what I'm wondering is, if you guys are game, what I'd like to do is have you walk me through setting up an account, and then I've picked out a picture to upload, and then maybe I can put it out for each of you to maybe comment on or type a comment, because like I can't do a voice thread myself right now because I'm on the air with you guys. But then maybe we can leave it up and let people in the future deal with it. So all right, so I'm going to take it step by step. I'm at the register for Voicethread. I'm at voicethread.com, and I've clicked on register, and I'm entering my name, my email address, which I've got to do twice. Okay, and I'm going to create a password. I tell you what it is, but then I'd have to kill you all. All right, it approved my password. I'm registered. Okay, first step. Go ahead. Why don't you, if you would, are either of you in front of a screen?
Steve, are you in front of a screen?
Steve?
Have we lost Steve?
Oh, hold on there. You got me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. The helpful mute button. That is very helpful.
I've had that happen. Fortunately, I usually have guests who can go on talking without me. They never notice I'm not even.
That's usually Steve, by the way. That's usually his MO, so I'm surprised.
That's right. Let's see. So go ahead. You signed in?
I've signed in. I'm waiting. It's transferring data from voicethread.com. It may be a little slow on my end. I may have too many windows on my browser.
Sure. Well, as soon as you're signed in, you will probably end up on what's called your My Voice page, and that's sort of your headquarters for all of the voice threads that you've made or you have been invited to.
Okay.
Just let me know when you get there.
I am waiting for it to finish. Maybe I'm wondering if will I screw it up if I just hit reload?
No.
Oh, you won't screw up.
It worked perfectly in rehearsal.
Of course.
Funny how that works, right?
Yeah. Let's see.
Well, if we can't get past the sign-in or register, I think we've officially got a problem.
It's probably on my end. Let's see. Let me try closing some of these windows while we're talking here. I'll see what I can
come up with.
See what I can close. Yeah, I unfortunately have way too many of these things open right now because I was in the middle of something before.
That could do it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Folks, be patient here. Mr. Media is, Mr.
Well,
Knuckles.
I'm gonna talk to everybody else. Tell everybody else.
Please.
Basically,
there you go. That's the Steve I've come to know.
I'm gonna just talk right past you, which is our site navigation is pretty simple. There's three main areas. It's browsing public content, creating your own, and then your My Voice page. So it's just three main areas you need to remember. When you log in, you're taken to your My Voice page where you can see what's new. If people have left new comments on your voice threads, it'll have a little yellow comment bubble attached to them. But then when you're ready to create your own, you're going to click the Create button.
Okay. All right. Well, what I did was that wasn't quite going where it needed to, so I clicked on My Voice, and so I'm on the My Voice page. So, what shall I do?
So
what I want to do is go ahead.
You're gonna create.
You want to create, so go up top and you'll see a create button.
All right,
Just
I
click
see
on
that.
it.
I'm clicking on create, and it says upload, so I click on that.
That's right. Yep.
All right, upload from my computer.
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right, it's giving me a choice of what's on my desktop, and I want, let's see, what is that called? I have to find them. Oh yeah, okay, there it is. This will thrill everyone. This is a photo of Mr. Media with someone I interviewed. All right, it's loading. The gears are turning. I mean, literally, folks, there's a gear and it's turning. Okay, the photo is up. What do I do now with it?
Next,
I'm impressed already, frankly.
The next thing is you're going to click the button beneath it that says comment.
Okay.
And then you're basically going to leave a comment because we think before you send invitations to people, you should always comment so that they know that what they're looking at is not a slideshow, which is often what we get confused about because people can't believe that, in this thing is actually the capacity for a conversation. So if you send it without comments, they'll send an email back to you saying, thanks, I got the pictures, they were really wonderful, which is not really the goal. So you should leave your first comment, and what we suggest to people if you're sending it to someone new is that you be a little explicit about what you want, which is you want feedback. So if it's a picture, you're going to tell your side of the story and say, hey, just click the comment button down here and leave your own comment.
All right. Now, it's actually asking me, it's saying add a picture to represent yourself. I should probably do that first then.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
All right. So I'm gonna click on upload, and I'm gonna select a. Let's see. I'll put up the Mr. Media logo to represent me.
Perfect.
That seems. I am in a commercial marketing position here.
That's right.
Okay. Let's see. There's the. Mr. Media, no, I don't want the Mr. Skin logo. I just want the Mr. Media logo.
You can always edit that later, by the way, so don't worry about getting it wrong.
All right, so I've selected the Mr. Media logo to represent me,
and you can crop it if you need to.
I did. Yep.
Okay. Perfect.
And then, all right. So now I want to. Well, there's a lot of choices here.
That's right.
I want to add a comment.
And you have and this is an important point. There are 5 ways to comment, and we did this on purpose because we want this space that you're in and the media that you're sharing to be accessible by as many people as possible in as many ways. So you're not stuck with you have to use your microphone to record. You're not stuck with just your webcam or just the telephone or just text. You can do any one of them. And so you get these mixed media conversations where if somebody doesn't have a mic, they're going to use text, or if they're not comfortable, they'll use text, and then other people will leave a webcam comment, other people use the phone. The bottom line is if you go to the trouble of making a voice thread and you send it out to people, if they can see it, they can participate, period. And it's really important. Accessibility is a big issue because otherwise you're cutting out a big chunk of the population if you're saying you have to know and understand how to use your webcam in order to participate in a VoiceThread conversation, and we didn't want to have that be the case.
All right, so I'm looking at the picture, and underneath it is a button for comment. So I should click on that.
Yep.
Because I want to add a comment. All right, let me do that. And my choices are phone in. I can use my webcam. I can record. Now I'm assuming that since I'm using my headset and audio to have the conversation and the interview with you guys, I can't really record right now.
Probably not. You probably can't select 2 different audio devices. Yeah.
Right. So I'm going to go with type. I'm going to type a little comment. Let's see. Because this is audio, I'm going to tell you out loud what I'm typing. On the left is Mr. Media, and leaving out the uhs and the ums. Bob Ambleman. On the right is, let's see, spell it right, Tommy Duncan, the creator of the blog Sticks of Fire. At, let's see, blog Orlando at, I can't remember. Oh, yeah, at Rollins College in Winter Park, Florida, October 26th. Well, I don't know why I remember that. 2008.
By the way, while you're making a text comment, why don't you also circle the faces of those people?
Oh, okay.
Which you do just by literally clicking on your mouse.
Okay, there's Bob, and yep, it gives you the pencil. And there's Tommy. All right, and then I save it.
Yep.
And now I want to share it with the world. So I click on the left under comment. Can I click on share?
Yep, that's it.
Is that okay? It's very simple, folks. I mean, an idiot like Mr. Media can follow it. Believe me, you can do it. All right. Publishing options. Right now it's set to private. Yep. I'd like to make it, let's see, choices are private, public no comments, public yes comments. So, folks, I'm going to click on public yes comments, and I'm going to take a chance and leave moderation off. Oh, you're going to make me regret it.
You're seeing the face. That's okay. I like it.
Don't make me come out and have to have a talk with you kids. Listed on browse. What does that mean?
It means, do you want other people to be able to see it on our public browsing collection? So if somebody comes to the site and is just looking around, do you want them to be able to see it or find it by searching for it, or do you want this to sort of be a hidden link?
Ah, okay, yeah. So I want it on yes, listed on browse. I want people to be able to see this. Now, how can I email it to you guys so you can add a comment? Well,
what I would do is click up top where it says copy link and share.
Let's see.
Upper right.
Copy. Yeah, copy link and share. Okay.
And now you can just put that in an email and send it to whomever you want.
Okay. I have. You don't need to give out your email over the air here. I have it, and we'll copy it.
Thank you for that.
It's that's Ben Papel.
Yeah. Let me just put that in front of me here.
So Steve has given out my cell phone number from time to time, so I'm used to everything.
Now I clicked on copy link and share, but okay, it says transferring data from Voicethread.com. It doesn't seem to be.
It's copied to your clipboard now, so you open up your mail client and just put it in an email.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah, it does say. I'm sorry, folks. It does say big red letters at the bottom, copied to clipboard. So I'm going to create a. Oops, no, it's not where I want it.
Do it right. You can do it.
I'm going to put it in the subject line, put it here, and then send it to Steve Muth and Ben Papel. Folks, you'll have to find people in your own address books, okay? I'm not going to give out these email addresses. Okay, I'm sending this off. I'm hoping at least one of you has access to email while we're talking.
Yep, I do.
I don't.
All right. Shame on you. What kind of electronic society are you in here?
Yeah. Okay, I got it.
Let's see. And while I was in email, I got to see that Jennifer Aniston has posed naked for GQ. So thank you for giving me a reason to see that. Do you need me to email that to you as well?
That would be nice.
Yeah, can you forward that?
Okay.
I will give you my email address.
Okay, I got it. I've got it opened up, so I'm going to mute you, and then I'm going to make a comment.
Okay. So while he's got us muted, we're secretly changing his tomato sauce.
By the way, you're dating yourself with that one.
I know.
Was a while ago.
Was that like we're secretly changing their tea or something? I can't remember what that commercial was.
Yeah, but that's old school. That's okay.
Yeah, was secretly trading out his Progresso chicken soup for some dog food. We'll see if he notices the difference. Now, how can I, now that I've made this public, how can I tell people who are listening, either live or via downloaded archives? Can I give out a URL? Is it this voicethread.com?
Sure, and you can even, if you want it, because it's public, you can even embed it. If you have a blog, which I know you do, you could actually embed the thread there if you wanted to, or you can simply post the URL on your website, and then anybody who clicks on it would have access to viewing it. And then for them to comment on it, they just have to register, which of course is free. But we need some type of accountability, so we do require you to register in order to comment.
All right. So the URL that I see up here, this voicethread.com/share/the number, that's it, right?
That's it. Yep.
Okay. All right. So folks, listen carefully and write this down, or type it right into your browser. Let's see how this works. VoiceThread, that's one word, voicethread.com /share, SHARE, /2922180 /. So your assignment for tonight, go to that URL, register on the VoiceThread site, and when you register, not only can you leave a comment for me, but it gives you access to create and play with 3 voice threads on your own. Add a comment, a voice or a video, or type something in, or call in from your phone or something, and add a comment, and let's see how it goes. And now the way things work with Mr. Media is we tend to have a smaller live audience, and then over days and weeks it tends to multiply by hundreds and thousands. So
that's great.
This may take a little while, but I would guess after a few weeks we should start to see some responses on there.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and that sort of highlights what we think is one of the sort of VoiceThread's core values is this ability to make a space that feels live that isn't. So, for instance, on that VoiceThread just made, over the next couple of weeks you may see 10, 20, or 30 comments appear and a conversation take place that wouldn't have been possible because everybody's schedules couldn't get aligned. But when you listen to it, you get a sense that it's sort of happening right now for you and all the participants, and that's kind of neat. You can't really do that with.
You know what? One of the other things I just wanted to point out, I'm sure I don't know what the time is like, but one of the other things I just wanted to point out was one of the neat things that we feel is very powerful about VoiceThread is, unlike an email or a PowerPoint or something like that you may send out and not have the ability to click a button that says, "Oh no, I was not ready to send that out. I need to do something." A VoiceThread is kind of organic, so you can edit it, delete something, re-record something at any time, even after you've shared it, which is a very powerful type of thing. And very useful.
Imagine being able to edit your emails after they're in somebody else's inbox. That would be powerful.
Yeah.
A few things I'd like to take back over the years.
Yes. Including the reply all button, which should never have been invented.
No, oh my God. I still can't believe people don't know not to use that.
They should just rename it the destroy all button.
Yes. Destroy my career and all my personal relationships. Yeah.
Oh boy.
All right, I left a comment, and I think I've set the tone for the seriousness of the topic. So.
Oh no.
Oh God. All right, I just put a title on it. Let me. Let's see. I don't think I've. Yep. Okay. There's my comment, circling it, and it's playing. Showing me circling. It's so interactive, and you got to try it, people. If you're listening to this, you really have to try it to get a sense of it. Okay, now let me see. It's showing mine. Oh, there you are. Okay. Here's Steve, and I think I'm only going to be able to hear this in my ears. I don't think I can play this for everybody. I'm listening to Steve right now.
Is he rambling on?
I'm sorry. You're probably not hearing anything. I'm listening to Steve. There you go. All right. You probably couldn't hear Steve's voice while I was listening to it, but that was cool. I mean, so now, folks, you've got the picture that I put up, with my typed comments, and then Steve's audio comments have been added to it. What he was talking about, I have no idea because I was talking over him, so we wouldn't have dead space here in the air. So that's great. So we've
graffitiing.
Oh. Well, so we've demonstrated how it works. It'll be more fun for you to try it on your own. Let's see. Are there Voicethread junkies? I mean, are there people who? Here we go back to the heroin again. And no, I've never have and never will do it. But are there people who, once they start, just can't stop creating and participating?
Thankfully, we do have a few. Again, the most, I guess, the ones we hear about are again, typically educators, professors, or teachers, and they just kind of have gotten into the mode of how to use it in the classroom, and so it starts to replace some of the other kind of things that they were doing. So it becomes almost a daily, activity.
In particular, it's PowerPointing, which they're really you hear a lot of negative comments about PowerPoint, but what's the alternative? And really, so we think we do have an alternative. And basically, you don't make complex presentations at Voicethread. You just don't do that. Our tool doesn't do that. You can make your presentations using any tool you want, PowerPoint or Keynote or anything you want. You upload them, and what it does is transform what used to be a one-to-many presentation, where you just send it out and people sit there and they watch your presentation, which no one has a positive, feeling about. And it transforms it into an interactive one where you may be presenting ideas, but you're presenting it in a format that says, let me know what you think. And our bet is that 5 years from now, it's going to seem strange, if not rude, to actually send out any sort of media to anyone without an interactive format. It's going to seem almost rude, like, you don't want my opinion? You just want me to watch your ideas, but you don't want to hear from me? It's going to seem strange.
Right. You guys just can't help yourself but put another nail in the coffin of print media, can you?
Change is good.
I don't know. You're laughing, and my 401k is just crying.
Shrinking.
No. Believe me, you and I are in the same boat then.
It's a big boat right now.
With plenty of oars and potentially a lot of cannibalism about to happen.
That's right.
And what's the cure? What is the cure for too much Voicethread?
We don't want to. We might have an antidote, but we're certainly not going to give it out. That's for sure.
It may not be curable at this point. Further research is required.
Right. You know what? There is one kind of on a fairly serious note. There was a conversation that I listened to with Charlie Rose, who I absolutely love, about 6 months ago, and he had on, I think, the past 4 or 5 Teachers of the Year award winners, and it was just a conversation about education and where things were moving and how these, particular educators who clearly are some of the best in their field viewed education now and where they saw it, 5-10 years from now. And Steve touched on something, and they touched on it as well, which is we have to speak to students and children on a level that they understand, and that level right now is digital. That this is, handing them technology is not like handing them a textbook. They get the technology and they're ready to absorb when it's in a mode that they understand. And we're hoping that we're one of those tools that can help facilitate real 21st century learning. And that's really, that's the nuts and bolts of it. Just thought I'd throw that one serious thing out there. I don't know if it's...
Yeah, you're bringing us down.
Yeah, man.
I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking.
Steve, I think excuse me, when we spoke off air to set up the interview, you had mentioned that this month you guys are expanding the Voicethread offerings.
Yeah, well, we just did, which is now you can take your Voicethread to go not only as a DVD quality movie, but you can also now download an iPod compatible format. So it's pretty neat to see somebody making a video comment on top of a video, and then another person coming in, a video comment on top of a video, text on top of a video, or PowerPoint, and taking all of that, and we make a movie out of it. It's sort of like a special effects thing. You composite the whole thing into a movie, and then you can take it offline. So now you can put it in your pocket in your iPod or iPhone. And so that's the big feature release that we just did. But we also have a couple others that are coming up, things like the ability to order a printed Voicethread. So this would be a book that you could press buttons on it and you would hear the comments. And this way, you wouldn't need a computer. You would just take this book, and it's the type of thing we think that would be good as a gift for, someone, like something special, like a wedding or, an heirloom family album, that sort of thing.
Well, that sounds very cool.
Yeah.
Well, and is there, as we look, we're speaking now. People will be hearing this, for some time to come. We're speaking right now. December 2009, the American economy is crashing down all around us. Can you guys, as you look ahead to the new year, can you guys muddle through? Are you in?
Yeah, and it's a funny story because when we first started 3 years ago, there was the prevailing Web 2.0 business wisdom of you raise a lot of money, you give a lot away for free, and you try to get big enough that someone buys you. And that was sort of what everybody was doing. It's sort of like following the YouTube model of, start it up 16 months later, sell it for $1.6 million. And tragically, it was really bad advice. And we, luckily, were not in a position to execute on that business model. We didn't have the connections or the money. So instead, we built our business sort of like a paint store or a restaurant. And it was just really 101 of retail business, which is make a good product, service it, listen to people, and continually improve and develop a fan base of customers who, love what you do. And so we've grown much slower than a lot of other Web 2.0 tools, but in return, we actually make money. And so we're not really concerned. We don't have a bunch of VCs that are breathing down our necks to, sell or get bought by somebody else. We really think we're going to be fine.
Well, I think there's one other thing to touch on, Bob, which is interesting. In light of the economy, one of the things that I think is very important to show people who are perhaps interested in what you have to sell is there a value associated with it? That's number one. But number two is, can we actually help you in some aspects save money by not having to purchase things that are 20 or 30 times more expensive than what you're actually looking at? And that's one of the things, particularly in higher education, that we've seen, where people will roll out us, and because of that, not have to purchase some other things that normally or in years past they would have. So in a sense, not only is it value, but we're able to actually help them in other ways. And I think, I don't have to tell you, but in light of this economy, you either better do something 100 times better than somebody else does it, or you've got to, find your niche and show how that value is just going to make their lives, much easier. So we kind of like the niche that we've carved out, and we're, as Steve said, we're in pretty good shape.
I'm glad to hear it because I want my Voicethread to get commented on. I don't want it to disappear tomorrow. You know, you got to look out for these things. Well, listen, folks, you can sign up, as I've mentioned before. I think I've promoted this way too much. I should probably just stop now. All right, I'll finish. You can sign up for a free trial of the Voicethread product at www.voicethread.com, VoiceThread.com. And if after all this talk you still don't understand it, find a 10-year-old. They'll be happy to explain it to you.
So true.
And it's a lot of fun. It really is a lot of fun once you get the hang of it, and you'll love it for family things, family photos. We had an idea, or my wife had an idea that we have her family, both her late parents are from Eastern Europe. Her mother was Eastern Europe, her father was from Germany. Anyway, we have a lot of photos that we don't know how to ID because they came over from the old country. So we were thinking about scanning them or photographing them, putting them up, and then sending a thread to family members in Germany and asking if they know who's in these pictures. And I mean, it's just a perfect example of how you can use this and really have some fun with it. So, Steve, Ben, it was a lot of fun. It was a very quick hour. I
you got it.
Really appreciate your time and wish you guys luck. I think it's just a very cool service.
Thank you so much for having us on.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. It was fun.
My pleasure. You guys, good luck to you, and happy holidays.
You too.
Okay, you too. Take care.
All right, bye-bye. So, folks, for dozens more web-related interviews, websites, bloggers, podcasters, surf over to our main website, www.mrmedia.com. That's where you can listen to my earlier interviews with the people behind crooksandliars.com, webs. Is it webs.com? Well, go to both. Go to web and webs. I think it's webs.com. MrSkin.com. Yeah, we've covered all the ground that there is to cover. And many, many others. And please think about writing an online review of Mr. Media, casting a vote for Mr. Media, or marking Mr. Media as one of your favorites, whether you listen on Blog Talk Radio, Digital Journal, Pointer Online, Podcast Pickle, Vox, Folio, MediaFly, Podfeed.net, Blueberry, Zencast, Odeo, Kindle, or iTunes. If you've got an idea for a guest, email me directly at bob@andelman, ANDELMAN.com. Thanks so much for joining us today. As you know, if you're a regular listener, I really appreciate when you give up a little piece of your day to spend it with us.